Broadcasts of Hikino are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through Hikino.
We can and will be heard.
We can tell our own stories.
We can make you feel what we feel.
And see what we see.
We can bring great ideas to life.
We can change the world.
See what we can do.
Every week on this day and time, we show the entire state of Hawaii what our young people can do with a half-hour episode of Hikino. And over the past month, individual communities throughout the state came together to celebrate their accomplishments on the big screen in the Hikino Can Do Video Festival 2015. The festival showcases all stories nominated in the 2015 HIKI NŌ Awards and was presented at venues such as the historic Iao Theater in Wailuku, Maui, the Palace Theater in downtown Hilo on Hawaii Island, the Aloha Theater in Kealakekua on the Kona coast of the Big Island, on an inflatable drive-in movie screen under a full moon at Island School in Lihue, Kauai, and on the largest screen at the Consolidated Ward Center Multiplex in Kaka'ako, Oahu. Proud Hikino student journalists and storytellers got to walk the red carpet and show what they can do on a larger-than-life scale to their peers, teachers, principals, parents, community leaders, and the public.
It's actually quite exciting and quite nerve-wracking to see something that you made on such a big screen and have so much people watch it.
I'm really excited right now. It feels like Grammys or something like that. I'm excited to get to see all the nominees.
I think it's really awesome to be part of Hikino because it's like one of the only places where you actually get to watch produce shows and stuff. Like, I've never seen any other show that has that or anything like this.
Hikino has really helped me realize that with really hard work comes great rewards. Even if you don't place or even if you don't win an award, it's going to be just great to see whatever work that we put out.
Now we present the nominees for the 2015 Hikino Awards in a special 2-hour broadcast of the Hikino Can Do Festival 2015.
Nominated for Best Personal Profile, Middle School Division. Kapa'a Middle School for Fire Knife Dancer.
Kaylin Drake, the only female fire knife dancer on Kauai, shares her family's tradition while enduring the heat of her scalding baton.
I enjoy doing fire knife dancing because I get to practice my Samoan culture. My brothers and my family from Oahu got me into fire knife dancing.
Nowadays, fire knife dancing is used for entertainment purposes. Back then, it was made out of 2 weapons, so it was a warrior dance back in the olden days. But now it's just for entertainment, showing the warriors that what they can do with skills with the fire.
My first time doing fire knife dancing without fire was when I was 5 years old, and I started with fire 2 years ago.
With the privilege of having 2 older brothers, Kaylin is constantly watched and critiqued and strives to improve her technique. Going against tradition, this princess proves that girls can also take the heat.
When she first started to do fire knife dancing, I wasn't too thrilled about it because we were sticking with traditions. Traditionally, princesses didn't do the fire dance.
When my sister is doing the fire knife dancing, what amazes me is just that how she can keep her composure while dealing with the fire and spinning. Also just not being so nervous to perform in front of everybody.
Watching her over this year, getting more involved with the community of fire knife dancing, I get excited to see pictures and photos, especially if I'm not there.
Though fire knife dancing may appear really fun, it can also be very dangerous.
Before, when I first started with fire, I kept getting burned and getting hurt, and I wasn't really used to it. But now I don't really get burned a lot, and I'm starting to learn more tricks and stunts and cool stuff that people would get more interested in.
Kaylin's older brothers have been fire knife dancing since their elementary school years. They have passed on their skills to Kaylin just as they were taught by their elders.
When my sister becomes my age, I think she will become as good, maybe even better than me if she keeps practicing.
I do think of passing it down to the next generation to keep the culture going and the tradition.
This is Haley Gokan from Kapa'a Middle School for Hikino.
Chiefus Kamakahele Middle School for Papa Fu.
Have you ever met someone who was born over a century ago? Well, meet Charles Kauai Chung Fu, or more commonly known as Papa Fu.
I was born in Wailua, Kauai. I was born 1913.
1913. Let's see, how old does that make Papa Fu today?
101.
With years of experience, what is the key to long life according to Papa Fu?
Keep walking, I suppose, keep walking. I walk in the ranch. Early in the morning, I milk cows. I milked out all 6, 8, 12 cows. There were four of us, cowboys. I worked for the Princeville Plantation on a ranch. And then I worked for the county. And then I worked for the CCC company. That's a government. We work from different part of the island. We planted trees all along in Colorado Valley.
With a resume as long as his lineage, Papa Fu worked up until he was 100 years for his family restaurant and mining salt at salt ponds.
In the winter time, it's flooded. It's flooded, and we have to wait till the summer comes, and then when it's dry, then we start work on the salt pans, prepare the ground, and make the beds.
Others have their opinion about what they think Papa Fu's secret to long life is.
What do I think? His good attitude of life.
A lot has to do with just being around family. I think a lot of it is just being happy. He doesn't seem too stressed out about life.
Papa Fu has several hobbies that have kept him young over the years.
I like to fish. I like to go out boat and ride boat around. Yes, play harmonica. We had a club. We about 8 of us. And we all have harmonica, and then we play all the regular church songs.
With 101 years young, Papa Fu is still living strong. This is Kaden Keep from Chiefus Kamakahele Middle School for Hikino.
King Intermediate School for DJ Aisha.
When I grow up, I want to be a DJ.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. That will conclude this evening's entertainment.
When you're in middle school, going to a school dance is a real treat. It's an even bigger treat if your classmate is the one mixing the beats.
I'm Aishi Yamamoto, and I'm a 7th grader at King Intermediate School, and I'm a school DJ. I wasn't actually planning to start DJing, but I took a summer school course, and I took this media class, and we did a lot of photography and video editing, but at the end we did DJing, and it was really fun and exciting, and all I could think about was how I wanted just to continue to explore DJing.
I was shocked. I didn't realize that middle school had dances. Knowing that was already interesting, and then knowing that she wanted to be a DJ, first of course I said, well, how did that happen? And so she shared with me that she had learned all of these DJing techniques and strategies from a class from the summertime. And so it was an exciting opportunity for her, so I was happy for her.
It's an exciting opportunity that requires a lot of hard work. While most students spend their lunch in the cafeteria, Aisha and other King DJs are in the school studio, picking the perfect songs and assembling playlists to keep the crowd energized and on the dance floor.
What I enjoy most about DJing school dances are being able to see how the crowd responds and reacts to my DJing. And since DJing opens a whole other world of music, it's really cool to see how other people respond to it.
All the professional DJ equipment that the students use was provided by a teacher in school, and that opened up a unique opportunity for the students.
I get to learn how to use new technology and software, and I get to connect with the crowd in a way that most people don't get to experience.
And their hard work pays off. They play at the school dances, including a special 8th grade banquet, and sometimes even dances for other schools. Thanks to summer school, Aisha discovered one of her greatest passions and a lesson she'll remember for the rest of her life.
Girls make great DJs, and I love DJing.
This is Bailey Nakano from King Intermediate for Hikino.
Lahaina Intermediate School for security guard.
Kasika Tukana, or as the students at Lahaina Intermediate School call him, Tuki, is a warm and gentle giant. As the school security guard, he has cast a warm and friendly shadow over the campus for more than 12 years.
And then I meet all the students and all the staff members in the front end of the school office, and I made it a duty that I am welcoming everyone that comes across LIS.
Making people feel welcome has a deeper meaning for Mr. Tukana. He fled from his home country of Fiji in 2000 after a coup that left him seeking political asylum.
And I came here into the United States not knowing what to expect. But when I reached here, within 2 weeks, I discovered it is a big change from where I used to be in the islands of Fiji. Struggling, hardship in life, and here in America, I can see opportunities that will lead me to a better life.
It took 14 years of hard work, classes, questionnaires, criminal background checks, and more for Mr. Tukana to earn the title U.S. citizen. But even with his change in status, he never plans to change the job he cherishes.
I love my job in looking after the safety of the children and also their education. Hi, Shayla, how are you?
Good, how are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
And his #1 priority is to help make sure the kids he sees every day take advantage of the opportunities he just received as a citizen.
I would love to see a student get a good education. Not only a good education, a safety for environment.
To do that, Mr. Tukana arrives before most others on campus. He checks all classrooms and makes sure the environment is secure for the day. Then, he keeps an eye on everyone throughout the day.
I move around from classrooms to classrooms, that no noises, no disruptions are in the class.
While most of his interactions with students are friendly, he does have to deal with students who are not where they're supposed to be or need escorting to the office. He has a way of dealing with these students.
I look at the positiveness of what to expect rather than to the negativeness of the students' behavior.
Mr. Tukana is happy to be at Lahaina Intermediate and is excited about what his future as a new U.S. citizen will hold.
I feel great, and I want to have some more of what America can give and offer me.
This is Micah Barozzi reporting from Lahaina Intermediate School for Hikino.
Seabury Hall Middle School for marching band director.
Seabury Hall is the only middle school on Maui with a marching band, and it's all thanks to a teacher who took an unusual path through the director's podium.
I grew up on the south side of Chicago, and it's way different than Maui. Quite honestly, when I was a kid, this is what I envisioned heaven to be like.
Mr. Richie Franco has been the Seabury Hall band teacher for the last 9 years, but teaching music wasn't always his ultimate goal. Right after graduating from high school in Chicago, Mr. Franco enlisted with the Marines.
The biggest thing about boot camp is it's nothing but drill. You march everywhere, and the main thing about it is the discipline.
After serving 4 years in the military, Mr. Franco returned to Chicago and worked as an entertainer in a Latino band.
My band Own It, we played pretty much every bar in Chicago. Any music venue in Chicago we played. One of the biggest and best was the Double Door.
His love of music inspired him to want to teach. So at the age of 36, Mr. Franco went back to school to earn a degree in music education. Mr. Franco's first teaching job was at an inner-city Chicago middle school.
And you had to go through metal detectors to get in. Then I came to Seabury, and it was kind of night and day.
However, when Mr. Franco started teaching at Seabury in 2006, he found that the challenges of teaching middle school are the same no matter where one teaches.
But in middle school, it's really hard to have that discipline. So that's one of the main reasons why they don't have marching band in middle school, just because of all the focus that it entails.
Seabury did not have a marching band, but Mr. Franco thought that that could change. He brought his experience with military and music discipline to the field.
The discipline you get in the Marines is what I've passed on to my kids, to the middle school marching band.
Up, down, up, down.
Mr. Franco assigned me the role of being a leader of my section. I needed to act as a role model so that other people can try and follow me.
Mr. Franco taught me better techniques for playing my trumpet, and I learned how to play and march at the same time, and I gained a deeper love for music.
Marching band has changed, not just the students, but Mr. Franco as well. We asked him what has been his most effective teaching method.
I honestly used to think it was yelling, and I'm very ashamed of that. It's being compassionate and showing the kids you do understand. So it's just being patient and sympathetic with them and letting them know it's not easy.
The Seabury Hall Marching Band plays at school, sporting events, and community parades. They are most proud of their performance in the Honolulu Festival Grand Parade.
It was just so cool because it was a huge parade, and for a mile, the streets were lined with people. They played, and you would never know the beginning from the end because they sounded just as strong at the end as they did in the beginning. That made me very proud.
Thanks to Mr. Franco, we all look forward to every special event that our marching band plays at. This is Lucas DiMartino from Seabury Hall Middle School for Hikino.
Nominated for Best Personal Profile High School Division. Mid-Pacific Institute for Mark Yamanaka.
Mark Yamanaka has won 8 Nahoku HIKI Awards, including Male Vocalist of the Year and Album of the Year for both his CDs, Leipua Kenny Kenny in 2011 and Le Miley in 2014. Both of his CDs reached the top 10 on Billboard's World Album Charts.
Hokus are great, and I'm going to speak for myself because there are so many people out there that really live by trying to win a hoku. Because, you know, it is the highest honor of musicianship here in the islands. I've never strived for that, you know. When I release CDs or make music, I want to make music for the audience, for myself, for my kids, for my family, so that it'll live forever. There were a lot of challenges for me being non-Hawaiian, doing Hawaiian music. I would say was a huge burden on my shoulders, and I don't think a lot of people realized what I what I was feeling inside, you know, in my mind and in my heart. My next challenge from those thoughts were to learn Hawaiian music to the best of my ability and gain respect from all these people that I've admired who had performed Hawaiian music. And I think that was my primary goal as a musician growing up. So, you know, for all you folks out there that love Hawaiian music, just do it, you know. Learn it properly, do it the right way with the language, and everything will be okay. There's no wrong in doing it.
This is Bailey Ogawa from Pacific Institute for Hikino.
Kealakahe High School for Red Cross Volunteer.
American Red Cross, this is the Deployment Call Center. My name's Kathy. How can I help you?
Kathy Lewis is the longest active Red Cross volunteer on the Big Island of Hawaii. She served for over 25 years in a variety of capacities.
I'm a Red Cross volunteer because I really believe in the Red Cross mission, and what I like is just starting with the basic needs of food, shelter, and clothing.
The American Red Cross's mission, we're here to help out with any humanitarian emergency. And so the Red Cross's mission is really to help out during times of disaster and help alleviate suffering.
My first disaster was the Kalapana lava flow, and that was back in the 80s. So that was a long time ago. And right now we're concerned about the lava flow heading into Pahoa. So, boy, that feels like a full circle.
Mrs. Lewis managed disaster evacuation shelters in the threat of recent tropical storms and hurricanes. In addition to disasters in Hawaii, she responded to more than 20 emergencies on the mainland and in other countries. These disasters include the Mississippi River 100-year flood, Hurricane Katrina, and Superstorm Sandy. Mrs. Lewis has interviewed survivors, worked in huge evacuation shelters, and provided teddy bears to families of fallen firemen.
My most difficult disaster was 9/11. It was really emotional. We understand, you know, all of natural disasters are hard. 9/11, you know, I just can't understand because the destruction was human.
It's really heartbreaking to be there with them right after they've lost a family member. So that can be really difficult, but it also feels really wonderful to know that there's a way that you're helping these families recover.
Over the years, Mrs. Lewis has transitioned from disaster response to support. Now she uses her decades of experience to facilitate the efforts of other volunteers.
And more recently, I've moved into staffing where I work with other volunteers. And I also am on a national team where we do deployment, and we make sure the person has what they need from the time they leave home till they get to the disaster. And I wanted to say thank you so much for being an American Red Cross volunteer.
Mrs. Lewis was recently honored as Volunteer of the Year for the Red Cross in West Hawaii. But she says it's not about the accolades. When asked what was most important for the Red Cross to give, Mrs. Lewis didn't hesitate.
Hope, and hope is so important. You know, we can't go on day to day if we don't have hope. We're talking about people that often have lost everything, whether it's been a fire or a tornado or a hurricane. They need to start over. They need to see that there's hope ahead where they can regain some normalcy to their life. And I like being a part of it.
This is Antoine McLeod from Kealakahe High School for Hikino.
Hana K through 12 School for Songbird of Hana.
To most, Megan might look like just another ordinary teenager, but what one might not realize is that when Megan was born, she was not expected to survive.
When she was born, the doctors gave her a 10% chance of surviving. Megan was born with retinopathy of prematurity, which means her retina had not started growing and didn't attach, so she had no vision. Megan also was born with a lot of other complications. We had to wait for doctor reports, and we honestly didn't know if she was going to make it to the next day. Megan went through an intense surgery for her eyes, which helped get back most of her vision, but not all. She today is still legally blind.
It was the support of the community that helped Megan to keep moving forward.
I feel very blessed being in Hana and raising Megan in Hana because we are surrounded with awesome people. We'd get phone calls, we get letters of prayers, of thoughts that people were sending to us.
Well, in general, some of the struggles I have is reading the board, reading small print on paper and small print in books, and reading off menus. Balancing is pretty hard because when I'm sitting down and I get up, my legs start to shake. When I want to learn an instrument, my fingers have a hard time with bending and it gets really frustrating. The things I like doing are basketball and soccer. I enjoy singing because it tells a lot of stories.
There is no problem too big, God cannot solve it. There is no mountain too tall, He cannot move it.
She has been asked to sing at community events such as school, community programs, football games, and statewide church revivals. She even won several awards for singing. Megan is a special girl, and in spite of her physical struggles, she has persevered and is not only an inspiration, but a positive influence in the community. Megan has overcome a lot in her life and is set to graduate from high school and has big goals for her future.
Her goal when she graduates this year is to attend Ho'opono, which is a school for the blind.
I want to make my own music along with owning a recording studio.
She has been through a lot, and there's much more that she is going to go through, but like I said, we know that she can do all things if she puts her mind to it.
This is Precious Helekai from Hana K-12 School for Hikino.
Campbell High School for Dancing Team.
He takes advanced placement classes, attends multiple after-school clubs, and then performs for dance studios around the island. Christian Jacob Nguyen may seem like he has a lot on his plate, but for this junior, a busy schedule is the least of his problems.
The way it happened was I was just sitting in my room, and then my mom and my dad came to talk to me, and at first I was just crying because I knew like this was gonna happen, and I didn't want this to happen because I feared about my sisters, and I feared about myself as well.
Christian's parents separated a couple weeks before he was to attend his first day at James Campbell High School.
I had to go through what most divorced kids had to go through, and that is watching your family separate and slowly separate as you grew up, you know?
He was faced with a dilemma: stay with dad and live in Hawaii, or go with mom and his sisters to live in Kentucky.
You know, my sisters gave me so much happiness, and you know, it was so hard watching them leave at the airport. You know, I really missed them so much because, like, I really wanted to watch them grow. You know, whenever I wouldn't be with my friends or wouldn't be with my dance studio, I'll be with them. They were so young; they didn't really understand what was going on, and I really felt for them because I didn't want them growing up to be, lost or confused about life.
Christian chose to stay with his father in Pearl City. In the morning, that's a 1-hour bus ride to Campbell High School.
I still love him because I know he still supports me, and he does talk to me whenever he has a chance to, because he's always working, and I support him for that. You know, he gives me so much to be emotional about, because, you know, he gives me a place to stay. He gives me a place to live. I got comfortable with it because, you know, a house is a home, you know, and any house is fine.
Life may have pushed Christian to the ground, but he got back up and started dancing.
Dancing gave me a lot of life when I really didn't want to live my life anymore, you know? And throughout this time of my life, I was really introverted. I really didn't want to talk to anyone. I didn't really want to make friends anymore. Dancing, it was just a way for me to get away from myself, get away from all this drama, and I'm glad that dancing kept me alive to this day, and I'm glad that dancing kept me happy throughout this moment. Dancing offered me so much. It offered me a way to get out of my shell, and it offered me a way to make friends. It offered me a way to connect to other people.
Although his mom and sisters are thousands of miles away, he still had family in places he did not expect.
At the Playground Dance Studio, I made so much friends. They'll help you when you're down. They'll know when you're sad. They'll know when you're happy. I'm actually currently working my way up there to become a choreographer at the Playground Dance Studio. And I'm so inspired to just teach other people what I've learned through other people. And that's what dance brought to me, because dance is sharing, you know, dance is a community.
Christian's love for dance symbolizes his perseverance through his life struggles. This is Jacob Roy from James Campbell High School for Hikino.
Iolani School for Summer Kozai.
Summer Kozai graduated from Iolani School in 2000. After an MBA from Northeastern, she returned to Hawaii to work as an auditor for the federal government.
Summer Kozai.
But at age 26, after a trip to the Marshall Islands, Summer fell sick with severe flu-like symptoms.
On April 24th, 2009, I felt really sick, and so I went to Queens Hospital to the ER, and as soon as I got there, I went into shock. And after the point where I told them I couldn't breathe, I can't really remember anything.
Bacterial meningitis is a potentially life-threatening disease. It can cause paralysis, gangrene, stroke, brain damage, and even death.
Mentally, handling surgery was the easy part. It was the physical part that was hard for me, because it's like major surgery. I had, I think, not really a full idea of how major it was at the time.
Summer became a quadruple amputee as a result of complications from meningitis.
Summer's diagnosis was the most medically severe case that I've ever seen and that I've ever worked with. She is a fighter. I mean, I've never seen anyone that has this tenacious spirit that she would never give up. It wasn't an I can't attitude. It was always I can, I will, I must. This is how my life is going to be, and I'm going to do it.
February 19th, 2010. The power of positive thinking has a great deal to do with success in life. I really understood that power at the point where there was no option but to see the good in life. It has to be a conscious choice to see what could have been and be grateful for what is. There are times when the pain is ridiculous, but then I have to be grateful that I'm able to feel.
Just for breakfast.
I need to tell my story. Every time I share it, I get stronger. One day soon, I'll walk into chapel and share my story. I'll tell the kids that I was them and that they need to listen and learn while they can. Peace and love, Summer.
I feel so blessed to know Summer. You know, for years it was, I'm going to walk into chapel. You've probably heard that, you know, I'm going to come into chapel. She's got a lesson for all of us, you know. We get so caught up in things that are so manini and make them so big. She's a role model. She lives bigger than most of us do.
If someone had told me when I graduated that I would be back here doing an all
school assembly. I think I would probably freak out since I barely could get through speech class in 9th grade. That being said, I've been through...
March 10th, 2010. Being positive with regard to my situation requires a strong will to consciously focus on only happy things, because it's so easy to visually recognize reasons to be upset with my new life. I'll always miss what I physically lost. I'll never again be able to feel my toes in the sand or feel an engagement ring on my finger, but I'm not angry. I'll feel the ocean again, and I'll find someone who makes me so happy that a ring won't matter. See, there are always two sides. To sum it up, a long time ago, I made a promise to myself to always live my life with grace and to always try to take the high road, however difficult the situation was. I'm always thankful for what I have and who I am, because I know that this is nothing compared to another person who is hurting just as much, but for other reasons. Grace and the high road, that's the way to go.
Today, Summer is back at work, learning to drive and continuing to inspire others. This is Caroline Kodama from Iolani School for Hikino.
Nominated for Best News Writing Middle School Division. Maui Waina Intermediate School for Sports Complex.
All I know is that we need a sports complex as soon as possible. There's obviously not enough room for all the sports teams that we have here on Maui.
Sports complex is a group of sports facilities in one area. In 2010, when Lieutenant Governor Tsutsui was a state senator from Maui, he was integral, along with the legislature and the governor, in appropriating funds for the complex.
There are football boys playing on softball fields out there. There's not enough fields for everyone here. And since the population is growing and everybody's into sports right now, we kind of need it now.
Casey is not the only person to state that Central Maui needs a sports complex.
In my 10 years in being in the legislature, one of the things that a lot of folks in the community have continued to talk to me about was the need for additional park space. And knowing that it's an important part of many of our young keikis' lives, being physically active, having opportunities to engage in outdoor activities. I thought that this was just something that Maui needed for such a long time, and so I'm pretty excited that we're finally getting moving.
Right over the fence from hundreds of homes, the sports complex will consist of 1 baseball field, 4 softball fields, 4 Little League fields, 3 soccer fields, ample parking, and tournaments on a frequent basis. Which leads us to Dr. Harley Manor, who is the vice president of the Maui Lani Neighbors, a group formed to oppose the location of the sports complex.
There was going to be a regional park built here in the area. And then later on, we found out that it was going to be a sports complex. And around 2013, when we started to look very carefully at the sports complex idea, we found that we were not in favor of it because it intruded upon our privacy. It would have created lots of traffic, lots of noise, and also lights at night.
He alleges that the building of the sports complex is in violation of several land use laws and restrictions. Dr. Manor and 60 other Maui homeowners filed a case against the DLNR and Lieutenant Governor Tsutsui to halt the building of the sports complex. A representative from the DLNR was unable to speak with us, but Lieutenant Governor Tsutsui states,
The project's been under construction for about a month now. I think we're looking forward to having this park be completed in just a couple short years.
The outcome of the lawsuit is still being determined, but many athletes in the Maui community feel,
honestly, I don't really care about where the location is. I just know that we need a sports complex as soon as possible.
This is Skylar Stoke from Maui Waina Intermediate School for Hikino.
Alia Manu Middle School for Ms. Lee Lloyd.
Schools are like little communities. As such, there are people who stand out and become the leaders. At Alia Manu Middle, there is Ms. Pili Aloha Liloi.
I've been a teacher at Alia Manu Middle School for 45 years. It's the only school that I've taught at.
When I first started teaching at Aliamanu, we had 1,700 kids. Now it's a lot smaller than when I first began.
Miss Leloy has mainly been teaching English during that time. Moreover, it is not often that a teacher stays at one school for their entire career.
What happens is you get really used to going to work, and it's fun, and you enjoy every year getting a new group of students and trying to affect their lives, and you've got wonderful colleagues who you enjoy working with.
Throughout it all, there has been one thing that keeps her going.
Kids are very, very resilient, and they're good to be around. You know, they're fun to, you know, if you're not feeling good, kids always, especially at this age, a lot of people have always wondered why I've taught middle school. Because a lot of people say, hey, you should maybe teach high school. But, you know, I feel like students that are in middle school, they have the most growth potential.
Well, she slows things down a little bit and makes sure that everyone understands. And if the work is too difficult or looks like we're having a hard time, she'll make it easier or more simple.
Her students have found success in various careers. One has even gone on to teach at Aliamanu Middle School.
Oh, I love her. She's the best. I learned a lot from her. You know, I credit her, you know, for my successes in high school. She taught me how to read better and write better, critical thinking, you know, and I use those skills to get me to high school and then to college. And, you know, now it's kind of full circle because I'm here as a teacher.
It is with the students at Aliamanu Middle that her legacy will be known. She reminisced about a former student who recently visited her.
He says, you know, that's what you always told us, that the important thing is to go out and get a good job and make sure you don't come rip off my house. And, you know, he said, you know, and it's right. He said, my kids are doing really well. So I think that's what's important, that, you know, we give the values to kids to make sure that they become good, active citizens of this community.
It's no wonder that Miss Leloy's first name is Pili Aloha, one who is caring and beloved. This is Mikiela Gregorius from Aliamanu Middle School for HIKino.
Eva Mackay Middle School for Tech PE.
With the rise of technology in our lives, many feel physical education is stuck in the past. But the Eva Mackay PE department has taken a whole new mindset and thinking to challenge their students.
I thought it was going to be more sweating and more playing outside.
I really thought that PE was actually going to be kind of torturous.
Technology does help students learn. And so for some, they need to hear it. Some people need to see it. Some people need to sing it. Some people need to write it down. And technology allows that. Technology gives many avenues to learn. PE tends to be the most athletic kids do well because they can demonstrate it. And then you have somebody with no skill, no experience of it, and now they're expected to do that same skill. But now with technology, maybe they can't necessarily perform it, but they can express it. You know, whether it's through song, whether it's a PowerPoint, whether it's even seeing themselves.
Merging physical education with technology allows all students an equal chance to express what they have learned, making the focus less on the physical aspect and more on the educational aspects of PE, such as taking interactive notes and using heart rate monitors to control the speed and time at which they exercise.
I think the most helpful piece of technology would be our heart rate monitor unit done by Mrs. Combs. She's able to track her students' progress daily in terms of them working out in their target heart rate zone. The heart rate monitor can be something done outside of class. You don't need a lot of fancy equipment, and it can keep you healthy aerobically. You know, our PE program here, we don't focus on traditional sports, and we want students to be lifelong, healthy, and productive citizens. And I think just exposing all of our students to different pieces of technology.
I believe the technology that helped me the most was when we took videos from the iPad, because when I reviewed them, I knew what I was doing wrong. And the next time when I was ever to do that same activity again, I was sure not to do that same mistake again.
I think about PE after using technology is like more easier and simple, because then later on in the years we can look back to what we've learned.
The Ewa Makai PE department has helped students learn a new way to stay healthy by combining traditional sports with new technology. This is Faith Borges from Ewa Makai Middle School for Hikino.
Hongwanji Mission School for Father Coach.
Many teenagers try to spend as little time as possible with their parents, but it's different for Cole Miyamura. Cole attends Hongwanji Mission School in the Nu'uanu district of Oahu. His father, David Miyamura, is a second-grade teacher there, but Mr. Miyamura has another role that requires them to spend more time together than most fathers and sons.
I've played on 28 teams, and I think 27 of the 28 teams were coached by my dad.
Cole plays a variety of sports, including volleyball and baseball. His dad has coached him in baseball for 9 years. He has coached him in volleyball for 2 years.
It's a little bit of good, little bit of bad. He's always there to help you, always really trying to make you better, even on the weekends and stuff. But it's kind of bad because he never really gives you a break. He's always kind of hard on you.
Being his coach does influence our relationship personally, because a lot of times it depends on what happens at the court or on the field. Kind of follows us home a little bit, but it's a good learning experience as well. We can learn from the good and the bad things that happen.
It definitely made me a better player because he was always pushing me and trying to make me the best that I could be. So it's a good thing having him as my coach.
Follow through. Okay, so give yourself a good placement of your ball.
Despite their ups and downs, Cole and Mr. Miyamura's player-coach relationship has actually strengthened their son and father bond.
My relationship with Cole, both as coach and his dad, I think is pretty healthy. As his dad, we spend almost 24 hours a day, 7 days a week together, because he goes to the same school I teach at, and we, are always together. So it has to be a pretty healthy relationship, and we communicate quite well.
My bond with my dad has grown over the years. It's grown a lot. It's actually much stronger now, and we get along really well.
As his coach, same. It's a mutual respect. So it's got to be pretty healthy. Otherwise, it's a tough time at home. Straight through. Okay, you don't want to have a hitch. As a player and as a son in the future, I hope that Cole will take a lot from me. The fact that you should never give up, and always set your goals high and go for them. And you can always achieve what you put your mind to as long as you don't give up. So that's what I hope he'll take from what I'm teaching him.
With that message in mind, Cole has learned to appreciate his father in more ways than one.
If I had to tell him something, I'd probably tell him thank you for coaching me and being there for me over all these 9 years.
For Cole and his father, their experiences in sports and in life continue to strengthen their bond. This is Casey Amato from Hongwanji Mission School for Hikino.
Nominated for Best News Writing, High School Division. Kua'okala Public Charter School Miloli'i Hipu'u Virtual Academy for Mauna Kea TMT.
My name is Hoku Subiono, and I am a student at Kua'okala in Miloli'i. I love science and technology, and I'm actively involved in web design and computer technology. I'm also Hawaiian. I respect my culture and its values. In October, my classmates and I took these pictures at the groundbreaking ceremony of the 30-meter telescope. The 30-meter telescope at 34,000 square feet at 18 stories tall would be the largest telescope on Mauna Kea. Scientists say it will be 100 times better than any other telescope and will revolutionize astronomy.
If you took all the telescopes on Earth right now, it's going to be better than all of them combined. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe, but it's true.
I was surprised at the protest how passionate my people were in opposition to the telescope. Many Hawaiians see it as further desecration and destruction of their cultural heritage as well as their natural resources.
We have done many things together, but for this, I cannot stand and support you. You are about to try and make sacred the act that would desecrate our highest temple. We already know and we have seen how the UH maintains and takes care of this mountain. It does not.
I wanted to know more, so I reached out to several different people about their thoughts on TMT. I asked Mayor Billy Kanoe, a native Hawaiian, about why he supports the project.
I believe celestial navigation, astronomy, is a sacred science. I believe as Hawaiians, celestial navigation, as part of our culture, it is how we got here, it is how we return, it is how we come home.
I asked Sandra Dawson, who works for the TMT, about the environmental impact studies concerning the project.
We went way beyond what most people do when they do one. We had 7 public meetings for our scoping. We went out into the community. We had 7 more meetings when we did our draft EIS. It's about 1,000 pages in 2 volumes. And at the end, in 2010, when it was completed, the governor, Lingle at the time, signed it, approved it, and no one challenged it in court.
I asked Kealoha Pascati, an environmental activist, about her position regarding the environmental impact of the TMT.
The TMT's environmental impact statement, which is only a state level, by the way, it should be federal, has adopted the same positions that the federal one already came up with, and that is that 30 years of astronomy development on Mauna Kea has resulted in adverse and significant impact to the natural and cultural resources of Mauna Kea. What our position is on the mountain is that we want no further development.
And those are just a few of the generous people who shared their opinions and arguments with me. Clearly this is a complicated issue, without a simple solution. I'm still torn. I want to preserve the places that mean so much to my cultural heritage, but I also see that the project will bring new understanding of our universe and provide educational opportunities to students in Hawaii. I hope to revisit this in 10 years' time and see for myself if TMT does in fact keep their commitments, both to help expand our knowledge of the universe and to be respectful stewards of our cultural sites. This is Hoku Subiono, reporting for Hikino.
Waimea High School for historic Waimea Theater.
Hi guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you. Enjoy the show.
From date nights to evenings spent with friends and family, the historic Waimea Theater has been entertaining Kauai residents for decades.
In 1938, the theater was built. It was running until about the 70s when it closed down, and then it turned into a warehouse. Different businesses used it, and then when the hurricane hit, that's when it kind of shut down. And the Kauai and Kauai and West Kauai Business Professional Association wanted to reopen it, restore it, and bring it back to its old charm.
Hurricane Iniki may have damaged the theater's exterior, but officials were determined to keep its heart and history. That meant bringing back the rattan chairs the theater had when it first opened. To this day, Waimea Theater is the only theater in Hawaii with these chairs. They also serve as an important fundraiser.
You could buy the seat, and then we would put your name on a plaque and put it on the seat that you chose, and we still have more available.
The 260-seat capacity theater reopened in 1999 with an expanded lobby that leads straight to a customer favorite, the concession stand.
We take our customer service very seriously. When you come in, if you're a frequent visitor, we know what you like. We know your size of soda. We know the kind of popcorn you like. We know the candies you like. So it's very personable. And I think people all really like that instead of having the 16-plex where you're just somebody coming in to watch a movie.
Since then, the theater has continued to evolve. More than 2 years ago, the theater switched over to digital files instead of 35mm film. All the movies are now shown in high definition and even 3D. But the theater doesn't just show movies. It's become a popular entertainment venue, its calendar packed with a variety of events.
This theater is the main host for the HIF, the Hawaii International Film Festival. At the HIF, of course, we have a whole bunch of different films, sometimes some local films. Just recently, Hikino had their nomination ceremony, so all the local schools from Kauai came down and PBS came down to show the best of on the screen.
The theater hosts up to 58 events each year, from school performances and celebrity concerts to plays and even a wedding.
There was about 30 people in the wedding party alone. They used the theater before in the past, and everybody has a connection to this theater, so they wanted to rent it and have their wedding here.
The theater's unique blend of old and new attracts visitors from all over the island and the world.
Just the other day, there was someone that came in, they said, oh my God, I've never been to this theater before, and how great it is and how beautiful. And we had tourists that you know, we're not open during the day, but if we're in here, they will walk in and they just want to see the place. You know, a lot of tourists, a lot of visitors, they love old historical buildings, and Waimea Theater is one of the few on Kauai.
The historic Waimea Theater has been an icon in this town for nearly 80 years, and employees hope it will continue to be a gathering place, welcoming the community for decades to come. This has been Janica Marie Pasqua from Waimea High School for Hikino.
Kalaheo High School for Battery 405.
Looking at Kailua Town, you wouldn't necessarily know there was a World War II bunker still in use today. But right in our backyards, buried in the hillside, lies Battery 405, fortified with years of intriguing history.
So right after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, the government figured that we needed more protection in Hawaii around the coastline, and they built this bunker and other bunkers as part of the Seacoast Defense System. This bunker was actually built in 1943 after the bombing of Pearl Harbor.
Bunker 405 was built with 2 of the guns that came off the ships at Pearl Harbor.
When you take a ship gun and put it on land, the gun needs an elaborate cement slab all the way around the gun to disperse the shock wave.
Guns fired at sea have enough power to move the entire ship several feet through the water, so you can only imagine the repercussions of firing a gun like that on land.
Outside here, the gun had a little building over the top of it, and the entrance to the bunker had a building over the top of it, and both buildings had a Japanese motif to it. And in those days, the idea the United States government had is if the guns were disguised like a Japanese village, that the Japanese wouldn't bomb this facility.
The main infrastructure of Bunker 405 was accompanied by another bunker at higher elevation called Fire Control. Up at this bunker, men would be scanning the horizon for threats.
And he would have these books back then. One was all the shapes of the different ships of all the countries in the world, and the other was the shapes and the types of airplanes and aircraft.
With the help of these logbooks, someone would be able to identify any plane that might have flown in the sky. Having fulfilled its purpose in World War II, the bunker was decommissioned in 1950.
The man that had it from 1950 when it was decommissioned to 2000 grew mushrooms here. His name was Ron Dizeroth, and his hobby was growing mushrooms. He obtained 2 specific patents for certain types of mushrooms in Hawaii.
Gary met Ron at a local restaurant in Kailua and was invited to visit the bunker.
And I thought that this would be a really great place to have a data center or a place to back up data.
Backed by Weller's determination and his dedication to put the bunker to good use, Battery 405 will soon be a fully functioning digital archive system.
We started a process of cleaning the bunker out, putting in new electric, computer floor. The first room is complete now, and we're starting to market the data center.
Upon its completion, the bunker will sit on Kalaheo Hillside as a symbol of Kailua's strength and resilience. This has been Ashley Stankovitz from Kalaheo High School for Hikino.
Kamehameha School's Kapalama for Never Alone video game.
Well, I knew nothing about video games when I got into this. I mean, I'm a mom with a daughter who's in college, right? And I remember playing Pac-Man. That's how long ago I played video games.
As the head of the Cook Inlet Tribal Council in Alaska, Gloria O'Neill was tasked with generating income to support their mission of improving the lives of Alaska Natives. She recently visited Kamehameha schools to share with students her experience of taking the unlikely leap into the billion-dollar industry of video gaming.
And then the idea came to us, why not use the power of who we are, our stories, our culture, and marrying that with the technology of video games. What we really wanted to do is make sure that we created a game where we could share and extend our culture with the world, and it was authentic and it was genuine. And the only way to do that was we had Inupiaq writers, storytellers, elders, young people, linguists, all involved with the development process. And so we wanted to create an experience where if an Alaska Native person picked up and controllers to start playing the game, that he or she could see themselves in the game and to be proud of it. So there was a huge responsibility, and it was something that our elders asked us to do and do well. And as you all know, when elders ask you to do something, you better do it right, right?
After about 2 years of development, Never Alone was released in November of 2014. The game is in Inupiaq, one of the Alaska Native languages. It follows Nuna, a little girl and her fox companion, as they seek to stop an eternal blizzard.
In the gamer's point of view, you have different mechanics as well, as far as the jumping, as far as the solving of the platformer, going from each space to the next, and then trying to figure out how to get through it. It adds that piece to the puzzle when it comes to combining the gameplay and the story, and it's a very nice balance.
I'm here in Hawaii and my family's in Alaska. I didn't know anything about the culture, and now that there's a video game that I can have and play here, that's really going to help me connect with them and learn a little bit more.
Where we're bringing together people of communities to share their cultures through using the power of video games, share their culture, extend their culture to the world, that they're involved and that their voice is a part of that process.
It really is inspiring to me as a Hawaiian to try and see if we can put our stories in that same way, to get our culture out to other people in not only just an educational way, but a fun way too. Video games are fun to play, and it would be great to tell the story of our people.
Perhaps in the near future, students in Hawaii will be inspired to not only play video games, but to create the first Hawaiian-based video game. I'm Amber Ibuka from Kamehameha School's Kapa'alama for Hikino.
Maui High School for all Pono sports.
Sure.
Wow.
Who that from, Pono?
Pono. Pono boy was very loving, so he was always hugging, talking to people. He was very, very friendly, so he would talk to strangers, and a lot of people fell in love with him, love at first sight.
Drew Kupono Viela was born on March 15, 2001. From day one, Drew, affectionately known as Pono, was the life of the party and joy of the family. His good nature and sense of humor was quite infectious.
He was kind of like a magnet. They would kind of go up to him and they would just start talking to him. The other thing was he was pretty kolohe.
In June 2004, Pono's life was cut short when the ATV he was riding on crashed. He was just 3 years old. In the midst of the sorrow, the Viela family felt it was important to turn the tragedy into something positive.
We kind of thought about, how can, Pono's legacy live. We decided to take his name. So we took the word Pono, the name Pono and what it meant. The whole idea behind the value and the meaning of Pono, we use that and we try to take, one aspect of it and try to spread it, amongst our friends,
In 2005, the Vielas created the All Pono Sports Organization. Pono is a Hawaiian word for righteousness, goodness, uprightness, and morality. All Pono spreads the value of Pono through its athletics and service programs.
All Pono right now, we have Pono baseball, Pono soccer, Pono softball, and we have couple service clubs.
And it's the Pono that sets the organization apart from others. Coaches and parents are required to attend annual workshops on positive and honorable practices. The league stresses the importance of respecting officials and players at every game. And it's working. Since its start as 2 softball teams 10 years ago, the organization has grown to a total of 32 sports teams, serving approximately 400 children ages 5 to 15.
Catch the ball first. Good. Nice job, Hawaiian.
Now, even local sports celebrities such as professional baseball player Kurt Suzuki are adding to the message.
You can do that, go to school, can play. No matter how good you are, yeah?
From humble beginnings, All Pono has evolved to become an integral part of the community. The meaning of Pono has caught on and grown, not only locally, but internationally.
We know that like our merchandise that we create, has spread throughout, the foreign countries like Japan. We know they went to Australia, So it's gotten, very big, and it's spread very far. Along with the merchandise they go, they take the story and the value of pono. I think it's still evolving, which is, it's still growing. Uh-oh.
The pono movement is allowing the Viela family to heal and also to heal others.
We get up every day and thinking, how can we go out there and spread pono? How can we go there and impact people's lives? And that's the pono value that is instilled in us, and just because of Pono Boy.
This is Chris Kim from Maui High for Hikino.
Nominated for Best Home Base, Middle School Division. Each home base produces a series of vignettes about its school or community, which are interspersed between the stories in the show. Here are some examples of vignettes created by the nominated schools. Kapa'a Middle School.
And we're back, here at the famous Sleeping Giant Trailhead in the Waialua Homesteads neighborhood. This is one of the most well-known trails here on the east side of Kauai because of the expansive 360-degree view at the top. Hikers enjoy picking strawberry guavas along the route, as well as the cool trade wind breezes as they make their way to the top. Some of the more daring adventurous may visit the natural wind tunnel to experience gusts over 40 miles per hour.
And we're back, here at a very important landmark on the east side of Kauai, the historic Hotel Cocoa Palms and its surrounding coconut grove. The hotel was opened in 1950 and closed abruptly September 11th, 1992, the day of Hurricane Iniki. The hotel was destroyed in Iniki and is yet to be rebuilt. However, there is a current plan to start restoring it this January. The hotel rests near the stunning Wailua River, and its surrounding coconut grove is an iconic landmark in itself. The trees were planted in 1896 with coconuts imported from Samoa. The coconut grove is home to over 2,000 trees, making it the largest in the state.
We're back here at a fun spot just down the hill from Kapa'a Middle School. Do you like skateboarding? Well, you're in luck. Kapa'a's its own skate park with basketball and baseball courts right next door. The Kauai Skate Ohana is a local organization that supports skateboarders around the islands. Even if skateboarding isn't your thing, the Kapa'a Ballpark is a great place to meet with friends and just hang out.
Punahou Middle School.
Welcome to Punahou School. Every day, thousands of students enter Punahou through our front gate. The original front gate of Punahou was a class gift from the class of 1935 and was built by students in a shop class. This symbolic gate is so important to the students that each year, the graduating class walks through the model of the gate during their baccalaureate service off campus.
We're back at Punahou School. If you've ever driven past Punahou, chances are you notice the rock wall surrounding the grounds. Did you know that you are looking at a piece of history that is 180 years old? This wall was built in 1836 and has since served as the border of the campus. The original wall was built to keep farm animals from escaping the grounds. The rock wall still stands along Wilder Avenue and Punahou Street, which many people can recognize by the beautiful night-blooming cereus.
We're back at Punahou School. The cafeteria is a building Punahou students are always happy to see. It is one building many visit every day. However, next to the cafeteria is a special memorial that oftentimes is overlooked. The memorial plaques bear the names of 70 Punahou graduates who were killed in World War I, World War II, the Vietnam War, and the Korean conflict.
Kamehameha School's Maui Middle.
We're back at Kamehameha Schools Maui. Our campus resides in A'apueo, one of the smallest ahupua'a or land divisions in the Moku or district of Kula. There is a legend that tells of an owl named A'apueo and her conflict with a man named Kopoi, who angered her by smashing her eggs. In retaliation, A'apueo gathered owls from all the islands to wage war against the people of the ahupua'a. All of the men and women in this area were destroyed, including Kopoi and his wife. It is said that the sky was darkened above the valley by the many owls who fought in this battle. We're back at Kamehameha Schools Maui. This district is known for the clouds and winds that fight above our campus. A legend tells of cloud warriors named Na'ulu and Ukiukiu. Na'ulu is from the south of Haleakala and Ukiukiu from the north. These cloud warriors battle non-stop for the possession of the summit of Haleakala. Ukiukiu was usually victorious, but every now and then Naulu would push him back. From time to time, both cloud warriors call a truce, opening a clear space between large masses of clouds. This is called Alanui Olani, or the highway to heaven.
We're back here at Kamehameha School's Maui. On our campus, each of the buildings are named after ali'i, or chiefs and chiefesses of Hawaii. This particular building, which is our auditorium, is called Keopuolani, named after the highest-ranking wife of Kamehameha I. Keopuolani, along with Queen Kaahumanu, were instrumental in ending the ai kapu, or eating prohibition that forbade men and women from eating together. After it became clear that the gods had not punished them for their disobedience to this eating ban, the couple was broken.
Nominated for Best Home Base High School Division. Kua'okala Public Charter School Miloli'i Hipu'u Virtual Academy.
Here we are back in Miloli'i on the South Kona coast. We live on a slope of an active volcano, Mauna Loa. Behind me, you can see the lava flowed in this direction in 1926. Along our coast, Ho'opuloa was one of the larger villages with a store, a post office, and a landing for trading ships. The 1926 lava flow destroyed Ho'opuloa as well as the bay. Because many residents of Miloli'i are descendants of those displaced Ho'opuloa villagers, the whole region is now generally referred to as Miloli'i. Just as Ho'opuloa was destroyed by lava, today Pele continues to exercise her power. Access to our parent school in Puna is threatened by the 2014 lava flow.
We're back in the village of Miloli'i. La Inima is a song written by Elizabeth Kuahuia. It tells of a 19th century earthquake in Kaiko'o, rough seas, that destroyed part of our village. Many homes were swept into the sea. But strangely and miraculously, the Hau'oli Kamana'o church you see behind me was carried hundreds of yards to safety. The villagers feared that their children were carried away, but they returned home the next morning, our Uncle Walter recalls.
And that is why La Ilima is celebrated so vociferously, so enthusiastically, because where we thought we had lost the future of the village, instead they were saved.
Here we are back in Miloli'i. In the 1960s, rock and roll star and movie legend Elvis Presley shot scenes for the movie Girls, Girls, Girls right here in Miloli'i. Some residents were extras in the movie. Uncle Sam Grace remembers Elvis's visit.
For me, I know what, it was something for me that I'll never forget for the rest of my life.
While the village may be different, the house where Girls, Girls, Girls was filmed is still standing.
Mid-Pacific Institute.
Welcome to Mid-Pacific Institute in Manoa Valley on the island of Oahu. In 1908, the Kauai Ha'o Seminary for Girls, founded in 1864, and the Mills Institute for Boys, founded in 1892, merged to form Mid-Pacific Institute, and the new school moved to its current location here in Manoa Valley. In the early 1900s, a typical day included working on the farm or learning how to sew. Over the past 100+ years, Mid-Pacific has seen many changes. The farm and the craft shops are long forgotten memories, while the Hartley Math, Science and Technology Center and the Weinberg Technology Plaza are relatively recent additions.
We're back at Mid-Pacific Institute in Manoa Valley next to the University of Hawaii. I'm here at the Weinberg Technology Plaza where students attend classes in digital media, innovative design technology, and technology for the 21st century. At the Weinberg Technology Plaza, students have access to tools that help them turn ideas into reality. Whether it is an original music composition or a new wing design that needs to be tested in the wind tunnel, students are encouraged to express their creativity and to explore their passions. Here, Senior Matthew Ho displays his 3D printed sculpture, filled with information.
We're back at Mid-Pacific in Manoa Valley. I'm standing in front of Kauai Ha'o, the oldest building on campus. Some people say Kauai Ha'o is home to a friendly apparition we call the Holoku Lady. Over the years, there have been numerous reported sightings of a lady dressed in a white holoku, which is the Hawaiian word for a long, loose-fitting gown with long sleeves and a high neck. It is said that one of our early female boarding students died suddenly one night and that her spirit lives on in Kauai Ha'o. She was even featured on the cover of a recently published yearbook.
Kaiser High School.
We're back in East Oahu at Kaiser High School in front of our 9/11 memorial. This kukui nut tree that I'm standing in front of was planted in honor of alumni Miley Rachel Hale. Miley was a valedictorian of the 1993 graduating class. On the fateful day of September 11th, Miley was working at the World Trade Center in New York City. She, along with nearly 3,000 other people, lost their lives that day. Upon learning of her passing, students rallied together and planted a young kukui nut tree in remembrance of Miley's life and accomplishments. A small boulder from Hanauma Bay, one of her favorite places, was also placed at this memorial.
Welcome back to Kaiser High School, home of the Cougars in the Hawaii Kai district of Oahu. The stage you see behind me is part of our black box theater. In theatrical terms, a black box theater refers to a simple, bare room with movable parts. It is a low-cost alternative to the traditionally grand performance hall. Fall plays and spring musicals are performed here every year. Past performances include renditions of Grease, Pippin, and most recently, a take on Sophocles' Antigone. Our black box theater also serves as a drama classroom and drama club headquarters. Overall, it is an environment that fosters excitement in both returning and new performers year after year.
Here we are at the lower parking lot of the Kaiser High School campus in East Oahu. Every Tuesday from 4 to 7 p.m., this lot is turned into a mini farmer's market. The market is equally beneficial to the vendors, school, and community. Part of the proceeds goes to the Friends of Kaiser Parent Teachers Student Association, which supports the school and its students. It is common to see students grabbing a snack here after sports practice or parents picking up fresh produce after work. Although the market is small, the PTSA hopes to expand the event in the future by bringing in even more vendors.
Island School.
We are back on the Island School tour of Kauai's mokus. We are currently in Kauai, looking at the moku of Ni'ihau. Ni'ihau, or the Forbidden Isle, is the westernmost inhabited island in the state of Hawaii, located 18 miles west of Kauai. Ni'ihau is a private island purchased by the Robinson family in 1864. Only people native to Ni'ihau may live on the island. Non-residents are not allowed on the island unless invited by a Ni'ihau resident. At this time, 130 native Hawaiian-speaking residents reside on the island, living solely off the land.
We are back at Island School, which is centrally located in the Puna Moku on the east side of Kauai. This district stretches from Kealia to Haiku, which is more commonly known as Lihui. Kealia is located just north of Kapa'a Town. This beach is popular for its waves and fishing. Wailua was the government and religious center of the Kauai Kingdom for centuries. The Puna Moku is Kauai's most populated and houses all of its major government facilities.
We are here on Island School's tour of Kauai in the Moku of Nepali. This moku spans the entirety of the Nepali coast and rises nearly 4,000 feet to connect with Kokea State Park. The cliffs are home to many indigenous species of plants and animals and provide recreational activities for the island, most notably the hiking of the Kalalau Trail. The pristine waters are home to humpback whales on their annual migration to Hawaii and play host to kayakers and swimmers during the summer.
Lelehua High School.
Aloha and welcome to Lelehua High School, home of the Mighty Mules. Lelehua is located in Waihua, in central Oahu. The area is known for its lush agricultural fields and the military bases that surround it. Lelehua was founded in 1924 as Schofield High and Grammar School. A few years later, Lelehua adopted its colors, green and gold. Green for Waihua's pineapple fields and gold for its fruit. The mule was later selected as the school's mascot, an animal that also represents the United States Army and the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. In 1949, the school moved to its current 32-acre site on California Avenue in Waihua and changed its name to Lelehua High School. Today, roughly 1,800 students and 200 faculty and staff members are proud to call themselves Mighty Mules.
We're back at a major landmark at Lelehua High School, the Peace Garden. In it stands a pole with the phrase, "May peace prevail on earth," written in many languages. It's a symbol of acceptance and a reminder to keep peace ever present in our thoughts. In this building behind me, you'll find our Peer Mediation Center, Hawaii's oldest and most active peer mediation program. Peer mediation is a voluntary and confidential process of resolving disputes with a neutral third party. Trained student mediators address conflicts among fellow students, such as bullying, fighting, and relationship issues. Every student gets a chance to explain his or her side of the problem. Then, the mediator helps them figure out what went wrong and encourages each person to understand how the other feels. This experience allows everyone to communicate effectively and to learn important lessons in conflict resolution and anger management.
We're back in Wahiawa, the gateway to the North Shore of Oahu. I'm standing near the intersection of Kamehameha Highway and Whitmore Avenue, on the north side of town. Here, on 5 acres of ancient soil, you'll find the Ku'ukani local birthstones. Hundreds of years ago, this was a place where high-ranking children were born, including many chiefs. It was believed to carry great power and reserved only for people of royal lineage. Ku'ukani Loko and its temple, Ho'olonopahu Heiau, have long been destroyed, and few of the original stones remain. The area is now a state park, open for everyone to enjoy.
Nominated for Best Cinematography, Middle and High Schools Combined. Hawaii Preparatory Academy for Waipio Valley Tarot. Island School for Champion Bodyboarder. Kamehameha Schools Maui Middle for Kula Farmer. Kapa'a High School for Kauai Juice Company. Maui High School for School Safety. Waiakea High School for Two Ladies Kitchen. Waianae High School for Water Safety Heroes. Waipahu High School for Following Victoria, Cuba. These are your 2015 Best Cinematography nominees. Nominated for Best Overall Story, Middle School Division. Waianae Intermediate School for Beauty and the Beast.
And when I win, I get excited and happy.
13-year-old Chardonnay Luning has been competing in beauty pageants since she was 4 years old.
One time we went with my cousin, and I seen her on stage with her dresses and her mom doing her makeup, and I wanted to try putting on makeup and putting on dresses.
Okay, so this process normally takes 30 minutes.
Since then, Chardonnay has participated in 45 pageants and has won about 15 crowns. But tiaras aren't the only type of crown this beauty queen wears.
Not all girls, they play sport. They play sports like basketball and baseball, but I don't think anyone would play a physical contact sport.
That sport is tackle football, and according to the National Federation of State High School Associations, less than 1% of girls play it.
We don't cut Chardonnay any slack, even though she's a girl. I mean, we work her hard, just like any other boy on the team, and we treat her just like anybody else.
Chardonnay has played on the Waianae Tigers Junior Midgets Pop Warner football team for 2 years now, as an offensive guard and cornerback.
Let's go!
But she didn't just learn the rules of the game. As the only girl on the team, football has taught her how to tackle challenges both on and off the field.
The boy on the football team didn't like me because I was a girl playing football. So he would pick on me when I got to practice, and during practice he would push me, hit me, and say mean things to me. Made me feel sad sometimes, but there were all the other people on the team that kept giving me positive advice.
One of those people was her coach, who taught her a valuable lesson.
Ignore the people that are mean to you and try your best to enjoy what you do because you enjoy doing it.
She's a hard worker. I really love her. She's tough. She really shaped the boys up on this team.
Facing the boys also required Chardonnay to tap into her pageant experience, a trick she learned from her mother.
The best advice my mom gave me was to never give up and try your best, to have fun at what you're doing, because in pageants, things don't go your way. Football is the same. There are There are times that you win and times that you lose.
No matter what the outcome, Chardonnay knows the most important thing is to have fun.
You mess up, but if you try your best at what you're doing, then the outcomes are better.
Trying her best and handling problems with grace is what makes Chardonnay a definite beauty on stage,
like a movie star,
but a beast on the field.
Go!
This is Amy Nevis from Waianae Intermediate School for Hikino.
Kauai o Kana'aʻao Public Charter School for Ka'aha'aina's Thanksgiving.
For most, Thanksgiving will come on November 27th this year, but for the family at the Ka'aha'aina farm, Thanksgiving comes a little early. Matthew Kaha'aina is a second-generation farmer, father, grandfather, and the man behind the tasty annual tradition in Waianae.
Yeah, I was pretty much born on a farm, raised up all my life, still on the farm here. I'm glad I was raised on a farm because we never did starve. Always had food on the table.
And once a year, he puts food on the table for dozens of people. He throws a pa'ina, or traditional Hawaiian feast, for friends, families, neighbors, and more. Ka'aha'aina prepares 400 or 500-pound pigs for the imu, and that's just the beginning.
I like to do it authentic ways. That's part of my roots. I do it all in the imu, lau, kalupi, kulolo, kalu ham, turkey, and share our blessing to give back to everybody, family, loved ones, friends, neighbors who helped us during the years.
He doesn't do it alone. Ka'aha'aina's wife, Terry, not only helps prepare the feast, she holds the entire household and family together. 6 children and 15 grandchildren in all.
Terry. The word Terry is my sugar. She means everything to me. Not only to me, but to my ohana. She's the one that keeps us together. And she brings us together.
I really thank God for all of them. And they're good kids. You know, not because they're my kids, but it's because they're special in their own way. And they've been really, they've been a great asset to our lives, mine and Matthew's. So I love them all.
It may come as no surprise that the Kaha'ainas choose to celebrate this way. Even the meaning of Matthew's family name speaks of joyful sharing.
Kaha'aina means a festive land. Over the years, I am very thankful for all the blessings we received. So I like to give back to all those who have blessed us too. So that's why we have friends, whoever wants to come over and help.
The tradition continues with eldest son Mark producing ono grinds at the farm inspired Mark to open his own restaurant, the Kaha'aina Cafe, which is tucked behind the Waianae Coast Comprehensive Center. It's just another delicious way the Kaha'aina family shares their blessings with the community.
Good job.
This is Krista Guzman from Kauai o Kona Public Charter School for Hikino.
Chiefess Kamakahele Middle School for Plantation Coffee Company.
Meet Gail Mandy. She is the manager of the Plantation Coffee Company in the town of Lihui. She makes fresh coffee to help people get a fresh start. But when Gail was younger, she also needed a fresh start of her own.
At the age of 13, I started with smoking weed, and then the alcohol got involved, and then eventually I grew up and got into other harder stuff like meth and cocaine. That wasn't a pretty sight. I ended up in jail. I did 4 years in jail.
When Gail joined the Plantation Coffee Company, she got the help she needed to get over her addiction.
You know, people has given me a little grace, and that's what makes me strive and to be a better person. I mean, people kind of helped me along the line, you know? Yeah, you need people to help you. Can't do it yourself.
After Gail turned her life around, she decided to help the lives of others, especially troubled teenagers.
We as employees try to go ahead and help the kids steer in the right direction, you know, kind of use us as an example. Well, there's a program called Halikipa, and the person that runs Halikipa is the owner of Plantation Coffee. So they come and do some community service at first, and then eventually they might go ahead and get a job depending on how busy we get, and they become part of Plantation Coffee in a sense.
My life has been excellent ever since I started working at the coffee company. A lot of changes, good changes, positive changes.
It's been great, actually. Been clean and sober, making money, open my own bank account, actually get my high school diploma and then go to KCC, get my associates in probably culinary.
The Plantation Coffee Company did not only help high school dropouts, but helped Gail as well.
Everybody, I mean, the owners, my co-workers, the environment, I mean, the people that come in, you can be you. You don't have to go ahead and pretend not to be you. We have a good relationship. We laugh around, we joke around.
But for Gail, learning to move on from her past wasn't always easy.
My greatest struggle would be getting past my past. It's not easy to forget, but I can move on too, yeah.
Despite her struggles, Gail has been able to push on forward and be the woman she is today. This has been Brandon Marcos from Chiefis Kamakahela Middle School for HIKI NŌ.
Wheeler Middle School for climbing Mount Kilimanjaro.
Climbing Mount Kilimanjaro was amazing. I really bonded with the people who I had climbed with. Reaching the summit, that was the moment when I knew I had literally just done what most people don't do in their lives.
Planning to climb Mount Kilimanjaro in Tanzania, Africa took time and effort.
I trained in North Carolina. We did a 4-mile hike pretty much every weekend because the first time I was barely making it, but at the end it was like I could run the trail.
Being a military dependent also meant moving during training.
When we moved here, we were doing Kona Trail and Diamond Head because it's all stairs and things like that, just to build my muscles and my legs.
In addition to strengthening her muscles, she had to become mentally prepared.
16 more laps to go. It's just a matter if you think you can do it, because after the first 2 days, it's more mental than physical. I just don't want to do this anymore. I haven't had a shower in days. I just want to get off this mountain.
This feat is even more impressive considering Macy was diagnosed 3 years ago with a serious medical condition.
EE is an autoimmune disorder, which is when you eat certain foods, your body sees them as toxins. That's where this trouble begins. And it can cause your throat to swell so that you can't breathe, or acid reflux, or anything just as simple as being really sick for a few days or out of it. I can't have this. It has vegetable oil. And my mom was looking to see if there were people who had EE in the area or who had something like it, so that I could meet somebody who was going through the same thing. And she just came across the Climb Kilimanjaro for EE website, and she was like, "Hey Macy, do you want to do this?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure."
Climbing was a way to meet new people and also for the group of climbers to raise awareness and money to support research for EE.
We all raised $98,000 for this disease, and that's more than I ever could have hoped for, and plus I summited, so that's pretty cool.
Macy definitely caught the climbing bug.
You can do anything, maybe not eat all the foods, but you can do anything you want to in life, regardless of this disease. Just one more lap. I got this. I got this down.
This is Matthew Stock from Wheeler Middle School for Hikino.
Maui Waina Intermediate School for Community Service.
On March 24, 2015, 24 students from Maui Waina Intermediate School began their journey to Student Television Network's annual convention held this year in San Diego, California. The students were excited about seeing the zoo and playing the snow, But this year, the students decided that they wanted to do something a little different.
When we went to STN 2014, we actually shot a video at the Church of Nazarene. And what the video was about was college students from around the country came to the Church of Nazarene and built caskets for the infants. When we were in the car, I went up to Mrs. Suzuki. I was like, we should do community service next year so we can give back.
And that's exactly what the students did when they arrived in San Diego, volunteer.
Has it been 4 or 3 hours?
Today they've been working out in the hot sun on a hillside helping us clean up our Australian garden here that's been in the park for over 45 years, but it's sort of fallen on hard times.
The group worked for nearly 6 hours in Balboa Park and cleared about half an acre of weeds and invasive plants in the city's largest urban park.
I've been a park ranger in Balboa Park for 20 years and I've rarely seen a group work harder than the FE2 group all the way from Hawaii did today.
I experienced hard work, and to me hard work is commitment, and commitment is putting your project first. Just sticking to something alone is just a great deal for us.
Their effort to help the community did not end at Balboa Park. The next 2 mornings, the group woke up at 4:00 a.m. to prep food and serve breakfast to more than 300 homeless people at the largest homeless shelter in the city, Father Joe's Village. This took about 3.5 hours each day.
People have a vision or an assumption of what is homeless or what homeless people look like, and what I've learned is that homeless people are of all kinds of ways and walks.
I thought they would be like all mean stuff, all grumpy. But now that I've seen family, like they have found me and they're like all kind to us, like that changed my perspective. And that really opened me to doing this more often.
After the volunteering, the actual competition began. Maui Waina entered 9 video contests. The team took home 3 first places, 1 third place, and 2 honorable mentions. Even though they are proud, the students remember the days of giving back as their favorite moments in San Diego.
I'm so proud of their accomplishments at the contest, but I'm really more proud of the people they're becoming. You know, it's our goal in our program to have them be better thinkers, better communicators, but most of all, just better people. And by, you know, integrating this community service into our projects and into our trips, I think it's going to become habit for them, and it's going to help them to do this throughout their life. And we'll definitely be doing it next year.
You did an amazing job today.
This is Maya Del Cruz from Maui Waina Intermediate School for Hikino.
Nominated for Best Overall Story, High School Division. Waianae High School for Stressed Athlete.
From 6 in the morning to 11:30 at night, senior Harmony Westbrook has a lot on her plate.
The document.
Okay.
Click on the document.
Every week, Harmony balances school with wrestling and boxing practices and meets and her part-time job at the family paintball business.
Harmony gives her all regardless of what she does. And that's what, you know what I mean? I admire that about her. Don't tell her that.
You spell Harmony, that's how you spell awesome. But the stress of staying on top of things is no laughing matter.
According to a University of Toronto study, 40% of teenagers who participate in school sports suffer from high levels of stress and feelings of depression.
And Harmony knows what it's like to have a breaking point.
It was a 3-hour practice during winter break, and we had a double practice. And I left during practice and I came home crying to my mom saying that I hate wrestling and I don't want to do it again. I just felt so exhausted because the day before that, we had a tournament at the paintball field, so I didn't get no sleep and I just felt so overwhelmed and stressed out with everything.
I mean, I seen her dehydrated. I seen her so thin. I was saying, Harmony, quit. And I could just see her mentally, physically, and her body was just deteriorating.
And it wasn't just last year.
I always feel so exhausted. And I want to do good in everything I do, so it's not like I'm just gonna mediocre it. I'm dying.
Every individual athlete or even student manages it. I think students, they do a multiplicity of things to manage stress in their life.
For student athletes in particular, one way to solve stress is to
de-stress, deflate at the end of the day, decompress. I think it's very important that people who live a fast-paced life. They have to make time for themselves somewhere, yeah?
I think for about 2 days I stood home to just sleep because I was drained and I feel like I couldn't move out of bed. All the time I get stressed out because of my schedule, but I always just sleep it off.
They should really try to talk to someone about it, talk to their parents or a teacher, counselor, and get some perspective on it.
If somebody's well organized and they know what's coming, that's gonna relieve stress too, yeah?
I feel like, you know, high school is almost over, so everything's gonna pay off. I wanna be independent. I don't wanna be depending on anybody else but myself.
Balancing it all as an adult won't be easy, but it's one goal this student is determined to meet, to achieve complete harmony.
So then what do I do after that?
This is Diamond Tuisano from Waianae High School for Hikino.
H.P. Baldwin High School for Anti-Meth Teen.
Baldwin High School senior Michaela Wandell is a lot like her dad. They share a sense of humor and positive outlook on life, but that wasn't always the case.
My father became addicted to meth before I was ever born, so he'd already been suffering for a while when I came into the world.
Growing up, Michaela's life was anything but normal. Having a father who was addicted to crystal methamphetamine meant Michaela didn't see much of him as a child.
Growing up with a father addicted to meth was, of course, difficult because he was consumed with his addiction and he wasn't necessarily able to support me and my brother. When my dad went to jail for the first time, me and my brother moved in with our grandparents, and they're the people who raised me, and without them, I don't know where I would have been.
At one point, drug addiction even caused Michaela's father to live on the streets. But when Michaela was 10 years old, he became clean, and over the years, they were able to rebuild their relationship.
He's a totally different person. He's my dad now, and so I'm able to like talk to him about anything and joke around, and I can actually spend time with my father now.
Michaela's unusual childhood has inspired her to give back to people going through rough times.
I volunteer at places like the Hawaii Meth Project, where I do like meth outreach, and then at like Feed My Sheep, where because my father was homeless for a period of time when I was growing up, and so it's my way of like giving back to people who are in the same situation.
Michaela also realized that she could use her story to inspire others. She was invited to speak at TEDx Youth at Seabury Hall.
My message was that no matter where you come from, you're still able to do whatever you want.
Don't listen to these statistical profiles that you should be anything else than what you want to be, because you can do it.
A student there who had never really heard this came up to me afterwards and was like, he was in tears, and he was like, you know, thank you for telling me that, because I had never heard that before. And it really touched me because I was able to help someone else be inspired to believe in themselves, and it was a really important moment for me.
Michaela plans to continue inspiring others by sharing her story. She says she achieved success by embracing her past, not ignoring it.
Those are all things I'm really proud of, and I wouldn't have done or found if it wasn't for those harder times as a child. So I wouldn't change anything about my life, and I think it's a happy life.
This has been Jessica Pressman from H.P. Baldwin High School for HIKI NŌ.
Kona Waianae High School for sticking with lacrosse.
A fast, physical, and challenging sport has arrived at Kona Waianae High School in Kealakekua, Hawaii. Lacrosse is a true American sport. It was started by Native Americans and was originally known as medicine game. Now, Kona Waianae PE teacher Daniel Kern is on a mission to develop lacrosse into a mainstream activity in Hawaii.
You see kids walking around campus with lacrosse sticks, or buying their own equipment, or watching videos on their own. I think the level of interest and commitment is there. And I also have to keep in mind that this is a brand new sport, and it's got to be fun. You got to teach the love of the game. I think with the level of talent that we have, especially here at Kona Waianae, we have some athletes that could really excel in the game of lacrosse. And I think it's a great cross-training sport for our football players in the spring.
Starting a lacrosse team in Hawaii has unique challenges. As the head of the only other lacrosse team on the island, Hawaii Preparatory Academy coach Will Zucker knows them all too well.
You're taking a sport that has, really zero awareness within the community and trying to get buy-in from kids, from schools, from administrators, and from parents to say, hey, this is a foreign sport to you guys, but we're here to stay. So we're recruiting, which is difficult, right? And obviously, when you start a lacrosse program, and I've been through this many times, you're competing against other sports from your same season. So there's that issue. There's the fact that there aren't many schools to play, and that's probably our biggest obstacle here on the Big Island.
Hawaii is a third team. Punahou School on Oahu that occasionally flies over for games. But even on the same island, travel is difficult.
And I know that there's obstacles that we face here at Kona, biggest one being travel. A lot of our kids come from Ocean View, which is an hour-and-a-half commute, and they have to ride the bus after practice, and they don't get home until 8:30 later at night.
Young men and women practice and compete together on the same team. They joined lacrosse for different reasons.
The most interesting thing I like about lacrosse is its heritage, its Native American backgrounds, and I'm Native American myself, so it's nice to play something that is historical to my blood.
I joined lacrosse because I seen it as like an open way for me to join a sport, and my friends wanted a sport to join. So when they said that lacrosse was going to be fun, I jumped in on the option.
Those who play it say lacrosse is more than just a sport. It bonds players beyond the field.
I had a coach that told me one time that if you were to be hitchhiking anywhere and you had a lacrosse stick over your shoulder, if another lacrosse player drove by you, they would pick you up, because that is how close of a community lacrosse is. And that's what I want these kids to experience. I want them to experience that community.
This is Shomesh Tamal Selvan from Kona High School for Hikino.
Waiakea High School for ACL injuries.
I got kind of slowed down on one hurdle, hit the third hurdle, and my body went to the right, my legs went out to the left, and it tore.
We're doing some drills, and my foot got stuck in a hole while I was pivoting. It just over-rotated and it snapped.
And I was ready to do my first tumbling pass, and I went for my round-off back handspring double full, and when I landed it, I tore my ACL.
Student athletes put in countless hours of practice perfecting their skills, but all it takes is a split second of error to set them off their track. Shannon Carvalho, a level 10 gymnast from Hilo, Hawaii, learned the setbacks of injury when she tore her ACL at a home meet in 2013.
The comeback was probably the hardest thing I've done in my life, but I got through it.
ACL injuries have become common amongst young athletes, something that was almost unheard of 15 years ago.
The ACL is one of the 4 major ligaments in the knee, and ACL stands for anterior cruciate ligament.
Contrary to popular belief, the rise in youth ACL injuries are due to the overall increased contact hours performed by athletes, not by overtraining or increased risk in sports. According to the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, ACL injuries are due to abrupt stops or changes in direction, whereas overuse injuries develop slowly over time.
We have a whole lot more athletes practicing a whole lot more, so putting in a lot more hours. So if you increase the number of hours that get played, you will increase the injuries.
It definitely pushed me back a lot in gymnastics, but with physical therapy, I was able to come back to gym within 6 months.
Physical therapy and support equipment play vital roles in the recovery of an ACL injury, as track runner Coleman Shavs learned after his surgery.
For the rest of my life, I'll have to probably use a brace. It's a hassle sometimes, but in the end, it's going to protect your leg, and it's going to protect your chance of playing sports for the rest of your life.
Baseball player Devin Iwahashi has also recognized the future effects of his ACL injury.
I'll probably have to do rehab on it later, and I'll probably struggle walking.
Despite the long road to recovery, the passion that many athletes have for their sport overcomes the physical pain. In Shannon's case,
after I tore it, it made me realize how much I love the sport. Gymnastics is definitely my second home.
This has been Casey LaGuire from Waiakea High School for Hikino.
Maui High School for Avalon Angel of ALS.
Drink milk and snuggle and watch a movie together.
6-year-old Avalon Enyern is her mother Paula's angel, but that doesn't make Paula's life heaven on earth.
Hopefully in the future, families don't have to go through this anymore.
Paula hasn't always been this willing to acknowledge her struggle with amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, commonly known as ALS.
It took me a while to get to the doctors because much of it I didn't want to hear.
In ALS victims, the nerve cells controlling muscles fail. Little by little, their body becomes impossible to move, eventually becoming so weak that it no longer works.
It's devastating on families. You can never get used to one state of being because something else goes. I live every day in hope and a desire to live and have the next 30 years with my family. But it is very rare that we live past 2 to 5 years from diagnosis.
Paula doesn't want the moments she has left with her daughter to hit any low notes.
The flowers go up in the lily pads.
She doesn't know all that. Oh, okay. Not to that extent.
Yeah. Only some.
This September, Avalon School hosted one of the many recent ice bucket challenges that have been flooding social media. This event really hit home when Doris Todd Memorial Christian School decided to keep it local.
And then the teacher said, Paula, we want to raise awareness for ALS. And we want it to stay here, and we want to give it to you. And so they gave me the money. They all hugged me, kissed me.
I hugged her so much.
Just because Paula is fatally diagnosed doesn't mean she has to stop living. She still has many more snuggles left for Avalon.
Everybody has a choice when they hear that they have been diagnosed with something that has no cure. And I choose to live in a blessed way. I choose to not let it take away the love that I have for my family. I choose for it not to take my joy away every single day.
Cheers!
This is Sydney Dempsey from Maui High School for HIKI NŌ.
we can and will be heard.
We can tell our
own stories.
We can make you feel
what we feel.
See what we see.
We can bring great ideas
to life.
We can change the world.
See what we can do.
Broadcasts of HIKI NŌ are made possible by the support of viewers like you. Mahalo. And by Bank of Hawaii Foundation, investing in Hawaii's future by promoting collaboration, critical thinking, and other 21st century skills through HIKI NŌ.